right, I'm Mike Caton and from Ace Method Coaching, and I'm live another Friday to do these hurdle technique video analysis. In case you're new here, let me say the same thing I say every week. I have a business called Ace Method Coaching where I help coaches and hurdlers get better at the sport. One of the services that I provide is called virtual coaching. And I do a lot of that, especially lately. It must have been because I was complaining on this show. But all of a sudden, the floodgates have opened and and I do a lot of these, multiple a day. Anyway, and they're really good. And I put a whole lot of work into doing as much coaching as possible to help athletes, parents, and coaches get better at this. But I also get a lot of free requests, and I don't mind. And that's when I choose, of the ones that I get, because I get many, I choose 5 or so to do each week. And in return, these athletes are letting me use their videos on my marketing for a variety of things, whether it's YouTube videos to help educate people, use them as examples, but also use them in my social media marketing. So that's the way this works. So if you want to be part of this, actually, if you want help, I recommend that you do a virtual coaching session. You get it done in usually within 24 hours. I do as much energy as I can into them. You can either do them email or live, but if you want to roll the dice and hope that yours gets selected, it might take a week or so. You want to sign up for the free one. Either way, you go to my website at acemethodcoaching.com and you'll see there how to do it. I'm gonna show this because I get a very surprising number of people who ask me where to send a video. I tell them where to send the video, and they come back and they say, I could not find it. I could not figure out where to send the video. What the heck's going on here? So I'm going to show you well, maybe I'm not. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Anyway, go to acemethodcoaching.com. You can either do the virtual coaching session, which is pretty clear. It shows a picture of me at a track. Or you can do free video review. Shows a young guy going over the hurdles, says free video review or something like that, technique analysis. You click on there and you can upload your video. Okay? So, I've got 9 of them to do today. I said that I wanted to do 5. Things always happen and I end up having to do more. This week is no exception. If you're watching this and you say, hey, how can I do this? You can't just send it in here and expect me to do the review during this show. At best case, it's going to end up in a week. If you do want to leave a question, you can leave a question in the chat. And when I finish with the review, I'll jump out here and see if anybody has a question that I can answer. Okay, without further ado, let me change my camera here. Now I'm going to go into here. All right, we are starting with Carlos. By the way, these are mostly high schoolers today. One middle schooler who you will recognize, but this is not him. This is Carlos. Carlos is in the 11th grade. By the way, this is the order I'm going to do this. Carlos, David, Ethan, Haley, Eli, Josiah, Keleb, a hurdler whose name I don't know. I just know his coach's name, Marissa, and Rowan. These are the 9 that I'm going to do today. So if you are looking for one of those particular people, you know what order they're going to be in. I also listed them in the the notes or the description of the video That way you can fast forward if you're looking for somebody in particular. Okay, but here's Carlos. Carlos is in the 11th grade, second year hurdling, and telling me that he's having a hard time maintaining his 3 steps and wants to know why. Okay, you got your 3 steps down pretty good there, Carlos. But I understand this is very common where a person can do them for the first few hurdles, and then as the race goes on, they can't do it anymore, and they have to do 4 or 5 steps. Very common. Multiple people that I'm reviewing today are having that same issue. I'm probably going to make, well, in fact, I just put out a video last week that says 5 reasons why you can't 3-step. Okay, it's all in there. Okay, but so basically it comes down to this: you are losing speed. So let's figure out what you're doing to lose speed and cut back on that. So let's see what Carlos is doing to lose speed. First off, he is reaching out with his steps. That is putting on the brakes. In fact, he's reaching out excessively on his planned step. So that's reason number 1, Carlos. It's slowing you down. Number 2 is you're jumping too high and you're jumping up at the hurdle. You want to jump towards the hurdle, reach the peak about right here, and then come down, but you're still lifting. You're also lifting with too much of an open leg. You need to have your foot tucked underneath your butt, drive hard off of your right leg into the hurdle where this leg, just this angle right here, is pointed right at the top of the hurdle, but you can see yours goes angled up. You want it to be angled forward. And then you're also opening your arms. So you kind of look like a dancer, right? The way a dancer jumps up with a straight leg and their arms and they're trying to get lift. That's the whole point of me telling you this. I wasn't trying to insult you in any way, but you're trying to get lift to go over the hurdle. You don't want to get lift to go over the hurdle. You want to drive at the hurdle and then get a good lead leg and a good trail leg to put you over that hurdle. Okay, that's what you need to do. All right. So hopefully that helped. Okay, so run with full speed, keep your feet underneath you. Watch my video that I put out last week about 5 reasons why you can't 3-step. Don't lift. Don't open your arms like that. Drive your knee towards the hurdle. You will maintain speed. So you'll come off the hurdle with more speed, and then you'll have more speed going into the next hurdle. So it's a chain reaction, right? And then you'll be able to maintain the speed around the track. Every time you do what you're doing, you're losing energy, losing speed, and eventually you're going to have to 4-step or 5-step. So that's the way you do it. I hope that helped. Okay, moving on to David. David is in the 11th grade. 3rd year hurdling, wants to go under, he wants to go faster, sub 15, which is really fast. Here he is winning the race, so we can see that David is a very good aggressive hurdler, but so apparently he's running 15 something and he wants to go faster, okay? If you've been watching me for a while, actually, I haven't talked much about this, so. But I can tell you right now, David, what I see. What I'm seeing, well, it's a couple things, but the most glaring thing is your trail leg. Your trail leg is, here, let me play it back, and I'm going to just, It's just not pulling around soon enough. It just looks like it's kind of just hanging back there. And then it just drops. Look at that, it just drops. That's not the way a trail leg is supposed to look. Let me see if I get you at a better angle here. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna come to that, but let me see what else I could see. Because you're definitely fast. That's a good step. That's a really good step. Another good step. So you run between the hurdles exceptionally well for a high schooler. And for people who don't know what I'm talking about, let me show you what I'm talking about. This is straight out of hurdling 301. So when his foot comes down, it's not out in front of him. He's not on his heel. It's not jabbing into the track. He's landing with it underneath him and his shin is angled back. But also equally important, notice that when his foot comes towards the track, it's actually moving back. See that? And the next step, same thing. Here it is in the air and you're going to see it move back into the track. Boom. Okay? And his knees are together, it's underneath him. Very, very good. Exceptional plant step right here, shin straight up and down. You are in many ways elite. Aha. Look at this though. Here's where it breaks down. Your heel should be tucked up by your butt at this point. And then you should start unfurling it about now. So you're lifting a leg that's too open. And so it's going to give you some lift. And then you never fully extend it. Oh man, I'm going to use you for a video that I'm going to be making probably for next week. And it is about this issue, okay? Here's the problem with going over a hurdle like this, David, is it doesn't allow you to go low. And I know a lot of coaches are teaching this, but let me show you something. I was not planning to do this. But just so you don't think it's just me, like what does this guy know? Let me show you something. Here's the Olympics, the last Olympics, the best hurdlers in the world. Let's look at Grant Holloway. He starts off, his heel is tucked into his butt, comes into the hurdle, and look at that, boom. It's not fully straightened, but it's very straight. Let's look at the guy who won the race right here, Ainsley Parchment. Boom, fully locked out. Let's look at this Frenchman right here with superb technique, fully locked out, okay? The only way to stay really low over a hurdle is to straighten out your leg, okay? Or close to it. So when I go back to you, so you are at the hurdle. These guys, when their heel or foot is at the hurdle, this is when they're locked almost straight. With you having yours bent, that meant that you had to jump higher than necessary, otherwise your heel would have hit it. I know this is controversial, but all the video is undeniable, okay? So that's another thing you need to work on. And then, oh darn it, I wanted to stick on there. Wasting time, coach. Let me show you something. I'm going to show you this guy because he's a left leg trail like you, or right leg lead leg. So in fact, all these guys, let's look at when they touch down, by the time their heel comes down, their knee is up high and their foot is like this. Every single one of these guys, look at Ainsley Parchment, knee, foot. Look at this guy, knee, foot. This guy, straight up and down. Knee is high, okay? Foot here. Now when we go back to you, your trail leg is not doing that at all, okay? Your trail leg just drops to the ground. Right here, your trail leg should be up even with your chest and your foot back here, okay? So as elite as you are on running between the hurdles, three very fundamental things. You're not lifting your lead leg properly, you're not extending your lead leg properly, and you're not moving your trail leg properly at all. If you could fix those three things, man, lights out. You would be like, I don't know, like running, you look like you should be running in the 13s and you're trying to run in the 14s. So that's what you need to do, okay? Because this is good advertising for me, I'm going to send you my Hurdle 201, which has my hurdle technique cheat sheet in, but also all the drills and stuff, but also Hurdle 301, which is all the tricks that the elite guys are doing. I'm going to give that to you. So anybody else who is looking at this going, I want to be like that, I've got these things in my store at acemethodcoaching.com. Okay, moving on to Ethan. By the way, David, if I forget to do that, remind me. And my email is blowing up. Oh. The coach, okay, right. Okay, so here's Ethan. Ethan, I'm so excited about this. And I sent an email to Ethan a little while ago saying, Ethan, let's do a Zoom session, because if you've been watching my live stream, this is the third time I have put this guy in my videos. He's a middle schooler, and the first time he sent me his video, he was taking these tiny little 5 steps between the hurdles. And so, of course, my feedback was, hey, that's terrible. You need to learn how to eventually 3-step, but 4-step and then 3-step. So almost like a week later, he sends me another video, and now he's 4-stepping. And I thought, okay, I'll never hear from this guy again. He sends me another video now, and he's 3-stepping. You got to check this out. And he's doing it really well. And before, he was like in the mix with all the hurdlers and their tiny little 5 steps. And now there's nobody around him. He's just crushing everybody. Look at that. Hard to believe. Oh, actually, there's one guy ahead of him. Okay, but anyway, look how good he looks, though. He's a little guy. Fantastic. I want to feature the progression from 5 to 4 to 3-step. So Ethan, reply to my email. Talk to your parents. Okay, so, but he did have a question. He wants to know how to go lower. And man, if I know anything about this guy, whatever I tell him, he'll do it. So let's look at what Ethan. Okay, so let me go. Good step. Oh, super step. Okay, that'll get better. Okay, lead leg. Very nice. David, I know you're 11th grade and really great, but this guy can show you how to do a lead leg. That's awesome. And look at this extension off this plant leg. Very, very good. So why are you going lower? Okay. Well, the reason why, Ethan, is because even though everything looks great, If you would have just stopped your drive leg right here and gone forward into the hurdle, watch this, one more click and it goes higher. So now we've just got too much lift going into it. So you just jumped up a little too high, okay? So just practice driving forward and trust this awesome lead leg that it is going to open up and let you stay low. The other thing is your trail leg is dangling behind you, and you should never have your foot higher than your knee like this. So work on that trail leg. And then you're right, your arms are too open. So I'll tell you what, I'm wanting to do a video that features you. So email me, we'll set that up. I'll also send you all my stuff, 101, 201, and I'll hook you up. So do that. So I'll just coach you in person. Okay, looking forward to that. Haley is 11th grade, 6th grader. I'm sorry, not 6th grader, 11th grade, 6th year hurdling. There's two girls here. She's the one here in the gray t-shirt. She is saying that she's having a hard time three-stepping the whole race, just like Carlos said. Again, very common, but also is having her trail leg underneath her. So Haley and anybody else watching, about 3 weeks ago, I put out a video about how trail legs could cause you to go too high over a hurdle, and that's exactly what you're doing. So watch that video and it will explain to you what you need to do, but let's take a look at it. By the way, this is a gorgeous picture. I mean, look at the colors of this track. Fantastic. The green trees, the palm trees, the blue skies. This is just great. And you got a teammate here, just jumps down and does push-ups. That's impressive. Okay. Okay, so here you are. We're going to ignore your teammate who had to bail on the hurdle. Okay, so you led with your right, really high. You jumped up really high. So you're right. Your trail leg is just hanging low. And then you're way too high, so you're losing. So, okay, so let's think about this. I can see right here that you're running and then you're slowing down, slowing down, slowing down. So you are slowing down coming into the hurdle because probably you have some fear, okay? So you've given up a lot of speed. Then you jumped way too high over the hurdle, gave up even more speed, and yes, your trail leg is dangling. But we have to ask the question, which came first? You know, the chicken or the egg? In this case, the high jump or the trail leg. Are you jumping high because of your trail leg, or is your trail leg hanging low because you jumped high? I don't know, but either way, you got to get it out to the side, okay? As long as you have the flexibility to do it, and you probably do because I can do it, and I'm 61 years old and I was demonstrating it to a high schooler yesterday. So just work on that trail leg, bring it out to the side properly, do it in all your drills to see you can do it. But more important than that, you need to stop putting on the brakes and jumping so high over the hurdle. That's why you can't three-step, okay? So 1, look at that, reached out with your heels, put on the brakes again. Big leap in the air like a big bound. But why did you do that? Because you didn't have the speed to get to the next hurdle in 3 steps. Why didn't you have the speed? Because of how you slowed down going into the hurdle and how high you jumped over the hurdle. See, if you would stop doing these things that slow you down, you'd be able to just run full speed, okay? Stop bounding like that. I do like that you have the hurdles pinched in, but they're, even though that's the great way to train, as long as you keep doing these speed killers like this, reaching out in front of you, jumping up, and yeah, look at that trail leg. You just got to lift it up. You just got to lift it up. Get it parallel to the ground. But that's your main thing. Yeah. Fix that trail leg, which is going to be easy. The hardest thing is breaking. I mean, you've been hurling for 6 years, right? And this is going to sound mean. I don't mean this to be mean. This is very common. But I'm telling you, actually, I'm going to get harsh. You're in the 11th grade. You've been hurdling for 6 years. You've put in a lot of work. You want it to start paying off. So stop being so scared of the hurdle. Trust all the drills that you've done for 6 years that you're going to be able to get your lead leg and trail leg over that hurdle and stay low. And you will have so much more speed going into the hurdles. You will be able to 3-step, no problem. But just get that up, okay? All right, Eli. Okay, Eli, 11th grade, bunch of juniors in high school. In fact, everybody except Ethan, my 8th grader, no, I got a 9th grader too, is junior in high school this time. So Eli's really got some good talent. He says, I want to know anything I can do to improve. Something that I want to point out. You see this foam thing that he has on the top of the hurdle? They seem a little bit busted, but I like those things. And I'm stating this publicly. You see how it sticks up over the hurdle? That way you can lower your hurdle, have this be the height of a hurdle, and it knocks over and it's soft if you hit it. I like these a lot. So much so that just this week I reached out to and I spoke to somebody from an online track and field store who sells these things. And I said, I want to promote these on my videos. How can we form a partnership? And we are right now in a discussion of this. So I'm telling you guys this because I want people to know that if I start endorsing things to sell them, I'm not doing it just because somebody's paying me. I'm doing it because I like them, and I actually reached out to them to say, hey, this is awesome. Let's work together. So I like those things. Okay, so that was a tangent. Eli. I'm trying to zoom. By the way, everybody, I tried to go get a new computer this week, and every day something came up and I didn't get to do it because my computer is getting so wacky, can't handle these videos. I'm trying to zoom in right now and it won't. And just a little while ago, I was able to do it. It's crazy. Okay, so Eli, you're definitely fast, but you're doing some things that are funny. Okay, watch this. Your left foot, you brought it over to the right side of the track. So that definitely tells me that you are leaning to one side, to the left, and you are setting up to do something weird. I can already tell what it's going to be because every time somebody steps that way on the right side of the track with their left leg, that means two things. Well, usually definitely one thing. That means their left arm, which is their lead arm, is going to swing over instead of shooting forward. And the whole reason they're subconsciously stepping to one side is because they've got to set up the balance to make up for that. And sure enough, let's watch what your arm does. Boom. You brought it from the side here. Your arm is sticking out to the side, and then you're shooting it clockwise. And then you're having to lean into it, and then your lead leg kind of swings a little bit over from the right side to the left side, so counterclockwise, right? And then now you've got your lead arm too far in front of you. I like how low you are though, but your trail leg has not made it around. So your trail leg needs to move sooner. If you go back and, I don't want to do it again, go back and watch what I was showing David, 1, 2, 3 hurdlers before you, when I show him the guys in the Olympics. I would right now be a perfect time to show you, but I'm not going to do it. Your trail leg, see how you're falling over? Like leaning over to the right? It's all the balance because of what you're doing with your lead arm and your lead leg. Okay, you need to keep your shoulders forward, your hips forward. You need to only push your arm forward, not swing it around. And then bring your lead leg forward, don't swing it around, and you won't have this issue of being off balance like you are here. And then see, even now you're still falling over to the right. Look at that. And then now you straighten out and you're fast. And then here's your arm again. You're coming in to set it up, to swing it across and lean into it. It's messing up your balance again. And right here, your knee should have already made it around and been up about as high as your chest and down to here. Okay? So you were looking for some things, and that's what it got. So thanks for sending this video, Eli. We had to work together to get this pulled together. So Josiah. Interesting story here. Okay. Now, Josiah, I don't know if this is a coincidence or your coach told you to do this or what, but I know your school. As soon as I saw this video, I saw Vista Ridge Wolves. I went, I've had kids race at this school many times in Colorado Springs. And then I saw somebody from TCA. And you're from TCA. And I thought, what is a kid from TCA sending me his video when he has a really good coach like Marissa Paisley? And then there she is right here taking a video of you. And it's not the video that I'm seeing. So maybe you don't realize that I know your coach. She's a very good track coach who's coached a lot of champions over the years, a lot of them. So lean on her, but I'm definitely going to help you here. Or maybe she just wanted a second set of eyeballs on her, which I definitely recommend. Okay, so this is Ethan right here in what to me is a familiar red tracksuit from my old rivals at the Classical Academy. Okay, so you obviously look like a strong, strapping, athletic boy who needs to learn how to hurdle. Okay, so come on. Okay, so first thing, few things. Number one, your lead arm is going across the midline of your body. We don't want to do that. Let's look at your thigh, right? You should try to not let your thigh go much higher than the top of the hurdle, but yours is way up here. So you jumped up, right? Instead of jumping forward, you jumped up. Plus your knee is really bent at this point when your heel is above the hurdle, which forces you to jump higher, otherwise your heel is going to hit it. Just like I told Eli before you, go look at David, who I reviewed, the second athlete of this race. I show some Olympian men, and you'll see that all of them approach the hurdle with their knee, but then they extend their leg at the hurdle. And this point, when their heel is right here, they have nearly a straight leg. That enables them to go lower. Okay, so look how high you are over this hurdle. Probably 6 to 8 inches. Okay? Now that in itself is going to set you up for some issues, because now you have to wait and drop. Okay? So I also think you're a little bit too close to the hurdle. Okay? I would back up by 6 inches, drive my leg towards the hurdle so that you reach your peak about right here, and then you start coming down on the hurdle. You're still coming up on the hurdle, and you're already either on top or on the backside of the hurdle, right? So, and then you're landing very, very far away of the hurdle. So that is a whole lot of time in the air. And if you would have just been about 6 inches back and driven, I don't know, just drive at the hurdle, you would have been lower and you would have touched down a lot quicker. The other thing is, like I said, your arms are a bit of a mess, and you're not pulling your trail arm back through. Whenever you land here, your trail arm should come forward, right? And that'll bring your hips with it, and it's just like when you walk. If you take your right foot forward, you bring your left arm forward, and then opposite. Same thing happens when you hurdle. If you go over with your left leg forward, your right arm has to be forward, and your left arm has to be back. And then when you come off the hurdle, they switch, right? Right leg goes forward, left arm comes forward, but you're just letting your left arm hang back. So you need to learn to work your arms better. You need to, like I said, jump a little farther away from the hurdle, drive your knee towards the hurdle, stay lower over that hurdle, come down closer to that hurdle, and make sure your arms are switching well, and it'll make all the difference in the world. Ooh, see how off balance you are and twisted? That's predominantly because of the way, it's many things, the way you swung your lead arm, but also the height that you had. This is you having to pay the price for twisting yourself up. Now you're untwisting, and it's very awkward. Oh yeah, look at this. You're supposed to reach the peak of your jump here and then come down, but you're still jumping up, reaching your peak about right here. So you're running and jumping, right? Versus hurdling. When it comes together, it's going to be great. I mean, you have the tools, I can tell, and you got a great coach. So you'll pull it together, okay? All right, moving on. Keleb. Keleb, 11th grade. In case I didn't say it, Josiah is a freshman, first year hurdling, okay? Might explain some things. Keleb, 11th grade, second year hurdling. He's the blonde guy with the green uniform. Currently running a 16.4, wants to get into the 15s, and then ultimately wants to break the school record of 14.7. So, got a ways to go. But, look at this. He's pretty good. I think he can do it. So he's basically saying, how do I get faster? Because he's pretty good. So, that's not a bad plant step. Your lead leg's in a good position. You got your heel up by your butt. Your arms are looking good. You're getting ready to lean into it. Leaning into it nicely. I would push off a little harder with your plant leg, your left leg. Drive really hard towards the hurdle. Seems the fact that it never really straightened out tells me you didn't push quite as hard as you could. Also, you drove up, and that's the reason why you're so high over this hurdle. That's the other thing that's a big deal. And then your arms, see how your arms are, they're not straight out, but they're not even 90-degree bent. So you need to fix that. This is a good touchdown. This is pretty good. I think your trail leg is a little bit delayed, but I don't think it's terrible, and it's probably not a big difference. This is a pretty decent touchdown here, here, here. Okay, so I've got three things. One I haven't talked about yet, but the other is driving towards the hurdle you need to do versus driving up. And the other is tighten those arms. But the third one is, you can't see it so much when you're going slow, but when I watch you, it's just the quickness or lack of quickness of your feet. I mean, like your legs as they're turning over. Watch this. Come on, computer. So you're doing everything pretty right. You just need to turn it over quicker. You need to have quicker steps. So if I were you and I were going through my progression that I have my hurdlers do, I call it my warm-up progression, but I think I need to come up with a better name than that because I think it doesn't excite people as much as it should. But it includes all the warm-up and the drills and the way that I want you to learn how to hurdle. But in there, there's a period in practice where you have the hurdles spaced out at about 9.5, 10 walking paces, and you're hurdling at about 75% speed, because that's a really good speed to work on all the different things you need to work on. I would have you go through it 3 times, and I would say, Caleb, first time I want you just to focus on keeping your arms tight. Good. Second time I want you to go through and I want you to focus on driving your knee right to the top of that hurdle and staying low. And the third time, I just want you to go through and focus on your feet moving like pistons, really quick pistons, striking the ground on the ball of your feet as quick as you can. And that's what you'd focus on. Then I'd say, okay, now one more time, pull all 3 of those things together. That's how you get better, okay? And folks, if you want to learn how that coaching is, I have a hurdle training plan that gives you all the workouts, but I also have what I described in my Hurdling 201 and in my program, and it's all in there. Okay, so Marissa, Marissa's the coach. Marissa sent me a video of her athlete. And Marissa also emailed me while I was doing this live stream to say, when is it? And I said, right now. So hopefully she's watching. But anyway, her athlete here is a junior, and he's very good. Apparently ranked number 2 in the state. But he's driving her crazy because he apparently has, his arms are out of control. He does them really great in practice, but when it comes to the meet, he's all over the place. And I can tell you, Marissa, lots of coaches can relate to what you're saying right now. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see something else too. But anyway, so, yeah, I mean, he looks like a stud. I mean, tall, strong. Oh, look at that step. Oh, yeah. He looks big time. But, okay, let's break it down. Let's talk about his arms, because that's what you were talking about. Oh, yeah, I see something. The worst thing, though. Okay, so we're going to pick it up right here. Darn it, I cannot zoom. Can't wait to get my new computer next week. Okay, so let me tell you what I'll tell you. I'm going to pick it up coming off the hurdle. Oh my goodness. So you're right. So here's, both of his arms are wrong. You are absolutely right, coach. So right here he looks great. Let's talk about the lead arm. I don't know, I have a hard time starting with arms. Okay, sorry, I'm going to go from the ground up. Like he pushes off really nice, I can see, and I'll see it again when he comes to the other hurdle, but he pushes off really nice with his left foot, his plant leg, which is going to be his trail leg, really nice. And this position looks fantastic. This looks really good. And for people that have been watching today with that really bent knee, look at this guy's knee, it's almost straight. Again, it doesn't have to be straight, but it can't be bent like some of you are doing. But it does seem like it's not dropping soon enough, like as an elite guy. But not bad, not bad. Okay, so I'm going to look at his lead leg. Here's what I'm noticing, and then his trail leg. This is not right. When he's touching down here, he is falling so far back. Like, look at that. He's so far off balance. And his trail leg is not angled properly. And look at this. He practically does a can-can kick right here. Look at that. This is not the way it's supposed to look at all. This leg should be almost, his lower leg, straight up and down, and it's out here. To me, that's the biggest thing he's doing and what he needs to figure out. Let me see if I can figure it out going into the other hurdle. But I see what he's recovering here. He looks like a really great sprinter, how he recovered. And then this, for everybody who I've been talking about today, watch the way his foot starts moving. See, his foot is already moving backwards. He's still 6 inches off the ground, and it's moving backwards. Bam! That is like super elite because there's no braking action at all. It's backwards into the track. Okay. Okay. He's kind of rising up a bit going into the hurdle. I still think that even sooner, like right here, he should start to elevate his body. When you look at the elite guys, again, if you go back to the second hurdler I viewed today and you look at the guys in the Olympics, when they come off their second step and they go into their third step, you can see all of them rise up, like try to like get up on their tiptoes to get as tall as they can. And he doesn't do that enough, okay? But this isn't a bad step, but a bit of an angle here could be better. Okay, here's the thing. It's only one thing though. He needs, at this point, his heel should be up here. So I would work on his lead leg. So he's lifting too straight of a leg. It should still be tucked right here and then start to unfurl here. This position looks really, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it twice in a night. Let me do this. I'm going to wait till they get a little farther. Okay. Hug. Okay. Let's compare him to this guy, because this guy he's a right leg lead and he's very, very good technically. Okay. So we can see that right here, not a whole lot of difference. Okay. Not a whole lot of difference. Looks really, really good. His trail leg is a little bit, see how his trail leg is behind his hip? whereas most of the guys have already pulled their trail leg through faster, so it's a little more rotated. Okay, here's where his number is above. I don't like where his trail arm is. So we're comparing this guy right here to him. Looks pretty good. Now, you see how I can see his trail leg right here. His arm is swinging forward, but your guy's arm is sticking out to the side a little bit. Okay, so here's the difference. As these guys come down off the track, their hips are moving forward. So when they touch down, right here, he hasn't even come to his toe yet. He never does though. His hip is straight up from his foot. And by the time most people would be planted right here, his hip is in front. But your guy is falling backwards. And even right here, it's better. But look at his leg is out here. His leg is here. And then his just claws right down into the track. And your guy sticks his out there like that. And obviously we can see it better at this other hurdle. It's a little bit deceiving now because of the camera angle. See, if you were a good camera person, you would have run along the side the way they do in the Olympics. Just kidding. Okay, so yeah, this is what we need to stop. You should never see that. So I would work on his trail leg a lot. I would make sure that as he's coming off the hurdle, he's trying to lean into it, right? Get that hip forward so he doesn't lean back and have his trail leg do that, but have his trail leg be, at this point, tucked down here and then try to bring it straight down versus what he's doing. Because see how he's leaning back, okay? And then yes, the arms. So the question is, how do you fix this when he does it better in practice than he does in the meet? Couple things. One is, but the thing is, you're telling me he does it really good in practice. So I'm going to say this anyway, but it might not be the thing, and then I'll say something else. I always say I'm building bridges, right? Because you can't go from doing a drill to being full speed and it working really well. So I build a bridge by doing this off-speed work, what I call off-speed work, like 75% speed, make sure they can master it at that speed so they can master it at 100%. And if they need me to build smaller bridges, like, okay, maybe he can't do it at 75, so we do it at 60%. Okay, then at 60, then I go spread it out a little bit more and I make him master it at 70 until he gets it perfect. Then I master it at 80 and then at 90, and then he can do it at 100%. Now, maybe that's not your guy's case. So maybe it's like, no, he can do it at full speed in practice, but he just can't do it in the meet. In that case, I would try to set up a simulation in practice to try to make it as meet-like as possible, right? I'd give him lots of rest. I would get in his head and I would say, let's visualize that the stands are full of people. There's a starter here and you've got competitors. Now, in fact, I would put competitors next to him and I'd get all in there, like really imagine you're at a meet, but really focus on getting this perfect and practice it more mental. I like at the end of the season to do a lot of mental coaching with my athletes as well as the physical stuff. So hopefully that'll help you, okay? I got to get back. I'm taking way too long here. Okay. Thanks for sending me your video, coach. Okay, last one of the day. Rowan. You know, I don't know if that's your last name or your first name. But this video fascinated me. And it's so different than all the other ones. Here's this girl training, look at this, on a cinder track. Not only is it a cinder track, it's dry and it's not packed down at all. Right? And I'm seeing all these amazing videos with these people with these amazing, I mean, look at this. Let's compare her to Haley. Look what Haley gets to train on. And look at this one. I mean, that's not even fair. That's why I picked this girl. I felt sorry for her. Okay. Plus, she is, well, not new. Okay. But let me show it in. Come on. Come on, computer, hang on. Okay. All right. So, let's figure this out. So running, putting on the brakes, putting on the brakes. You see that? You're always stepping out in front. So let me also say this. Because of the track that you're at, I would not at all practice at full spacing. Like, I don't know if that's full spacing, but ignore it. Because with a surface like this, and it's loose, and it doesn't push back on you the way a rubber track does, you are totally at a disadvantage. And if you keep practicing like this, you're never going to learn to hurdle right. Okay? So I would squeeze those hurdles into whatever distance you need to 3 or 4 step. Practice that versus full spacing. Okay? Just know that. I couldn't even begin to tell you what spacing because this track surface is just not good. Okay, so what's happening though is you're running, and you have to take a small baby step and a small baby step and a smaller baby step. Oh, that was actually a hop. You had both feet off the ground. And then a tiny one with a braking action. Because, well, here's the reason why. Is because it's too far for you to 3-step, but it's too close for you to 5-step, and you apparently don't want a 4-step, so you're having to do all this little stuff to not run into the hurdle. So what I would do, again, is I would pinch it together to a spacing that you could 3-step and learn to hurdle properly with the proper rhythm, and hope that this translates to when you go to a meet and do it. But I would never 5-step, because even on this surface, 5-step puts you too close to the hurdle. Okay? So there's so many things to work on here, it would take too long. So you got to run full speed. You got to adjust the spacing. You can never slow down, full speed only, and then dive at that hurdle and go over it, maintain that speed to get you to the next hurdle. Okay? Here's what I'm going to do. And I don't mean to be insulting because I see that you're a third-year hurdler, but you got some fundamentals to learn. So I'm going to send you my Hurdling 101 because it shows you those fundamentals. It also shows you a strategy to learn how to practice 3-stepping and go through that. And I'm also going to send you my 201 because it's got all kinds of stuff you need that will help you in your training. Okay? So anyway, that's it. I hope that helps. And that's it. So I'm going to bounce out now and see if anybody on this Friday night, it's 9:14 here, has any, oh my gosh, it looks like some questions. Holy smokes. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, I ran hurdles during track. Me too. What are some drills to do some plant so my plant step is more underneath me before I go over the hurdle and more horizontal flat? Okay. Well, I can tell you, by the way, I am compiling a list of hurdle drills. If any of you, well, let me just tell you what my plan is. I'm going to compile the ultimate list of hurdle drills and put them together into one awesome thing with videos, how to teach them, the importance of them, when to use them, when not to use them, everything. And I'm asking for people to send me your videos. Okay, and eventually I'm going to be asking for people to help me film these videos. If you want to be on one of my YouTube videos, you want to be part of this. So reach out to me at acemethodcoaching@gmail.com, and we'll go from there. But in the meantime, I will tell you what I tell people is something like this. I don't have a specific drill. I mean, there are some. I mean, you could do a wall drill where you are walking into it and then work on what's called a cut step, okay? And then you do your wall drill from there. There's a coach on YouTube who's a really good hurdle coach. His name is escaping me at the moment, but he does a drill like that, and it's a good drill. Dang it, I can't think of his name. So look that up. Look up cut step, and that coach will be there showing you a drill for that. But I like to do all my stuff when I do what I call my off-speed stuff, where we have the hurdles spaced out at about 9, 9.5, 10 walking spaces. So you're going over at 75% speed. And there you're able to focus on whatever is you're working on. In your case, you'd be focusing on getting your feet underneath you. To me, that is the best way to work on things versus a drill that just isolates it, okay? What's your favorite drill to run faster between the hurdles? Same thing I just said. Space them close, and then you just work on turning over your legs, like treating your feet like pistons. And you're just going da-da-da-da-da-da, staying on your toes underneath you, just rapid fire, okay? I like doing that. Hey coach, I'm running a strong 110, but I'm always a little bit short coming to the last hurdle. I usually hit it. How can I improve? Well, as I've said multiple times on this stream here, if you stop doing things that are slowing you down, you will have more speed later in the race. Simple. But also know that it's pretty common. So let's say you're halfway through your season, for people still to struggle a little bit at the end of the race. But as you get more fit each week and you've been racing each week, by the end of the season, you shouldn't have a problem with that, okay? But you could work on your speed endurance or your hurdle endurance. So you could do things like what I like to do this. Like we'll set out four or five hurdles, and then we'll go over them fast and then walk back and immediately do it again. Walk back, immediately do it again. Walk back, immediately do it again. So 3 or 4 repetitions. So you're getting tired, right? But you're still only doing 4 or 5 hurdles. So you can still go full speed, but you're working on your endurance. And make sure when you do those that you really keep your technique really good, because the more tired you get, the sloppier you're going to get. So you got to focus on saying, I'm getting tired, but I'm not going to let myself get sloppy. And you'll get better. You'll learn how to finish a race better. Okay. This is Josiah, by the way, and yeah, just another set of eyes. Oh, cool. Okay. From TCA, right? Yeah, cool. Another question. I struggle on maintaining a forward lean throughout my race. What are some drills? Okay. Well, by the way, I don't like people to keep a forward lean throughout the race. You only lean into the hurdle, and coming off that hurdle, you want to come off that hurdle standing tall, and you want to run tall between it and then lean into it, come off. So you just lean into the hurdle, and that's the only time you lean. Okay. Both me and Lewis, the athlete, are here. Oh, great. John, hey coach, I was wondering if you could analyze someone going over the first hurdle in the 400. The rest of my race is fine, but at the first hurdle, for some reason, it's odd to me. Yeah, I can't do it today. I'd have to be like prepped up for that. Send me a video. That's all I could say. If you're a guy, high school guy, and you're fast, you're probably doing it in 22 steps, maybe 23 steps, maybe 21 steps. But it's a trick for a lot of people, and sometimes you have to have your not favorite leg forward in the blocks right in order to hit it just right. So just know that. Hey coach, I was wondering if you could. No, I already did that one. Thank you, bet, Marissa. John, do you also have tips how to maintain speed at the second curve of the hurdles? So you're talking about the 300, 400 hurdles. So I guess the 400 hurdles, if you're talking about the second curve, well, the answer to that is to be in really good shape. So you still have speed over there. I don't know what your training's like. I know the way I train my hurdlers, it's in my hurdle training plan. That'll make sure you're in really good shape. So you just have to see, too many hurdlers only practice on hurdling. And you need to be practicing on your speed and your speed endurance with all the other sprinters and 400 meter people so you can run a good 300 and 400 hurdles. So hopefully you're doing both of those. Again, from Coach. How do you make less ugly faces when you're that's a good one. Okay, so everybody, thanks for a very lively stream. This was great. I hope people learned a lot. Again, you can reach me at acemethodcoaching.com. Please don't send me videos there, because all I'll do is send you an email right back that says, hey, if you want to send me a video, you got to do it through the website. Yeah, so that's the way it works. But be smart. Pay for a virtual coaching session. You'll get it done like that. It'll be really, really good, and you'll love it. Money back guaranteed. Everybody says it helps them. Talk to you soon. Coach Ace out.